Welcome to AK Anime Explainer. Today is explanation of Soul Land 3, Legend of the Dragon King Part 213. Without any delay, start explanation. The people in the front cars were beyond saving, for they had all been murdered by the evil Soul Master. However, they managed to defeat the evil Soul Masters fast enough that even though there was still a high casualty rate in the rear cars, more than 1/3 of the passengers survived. Many of them had been severely injured. Those in somewhat less serious condition began to help the wounded and the dying after calming themselves. It seemed like the situation was under control in the end. A middle-aged man that appeared to be a doctor ran to Tang Wulin's side. "Hello. Thanks for saving everyone. Is there any news about when the rescue personnel will be here? We can't delay medical care anymore for those in critical condition, especially those with internal injuries. The chance of survival decreases the longer we hold off on treatment for them." Tang Wulin frowned as he spoke. "I don't have a communicator to contact the nearby city. I don't even know where we are now." The middle-aged man seemed to be slightly disappointed as he spoke. "Then I suppose we have no choice but to wait. However, all the soul trains are equipped with a positioning system, so notification will be sent out at once after an accident. This place here is right between two cities, so the rescue department will certainly need a period of time before they can rush over here. We can only do the best we are able and leave the rest to God's will now. I'll go and rescue people first and give them the best treatment I can. Please bring me any first aid kits in the cars if you can find some. It will be very helpful." "Sure. Thanks for all the trouble you've taken." Tang Wulin nodded. Xu Xiaoyan knelt on the ground as she carefully bandaged the wound on a casualty's arm. She spoke softly, "It's fine. You're going to be fine. The bone in your arm is broken, and I've helped to stabilize it. Don't move. Just lie still and wait for the rescue personnel. They'll be here soon and take you to the hospital." The casualty was an old man. Even though the old man was slightly pale from the pain, he appeared very calm. "Thank you, little girl. You're just like an angel. Thanks for defeating those cruel scoundrels. Can you please tell me where are all of you from?" Xu Xiaoyan smiled. "We are Shrek Academy's students." The old man was stunned for a moment. "Shrek Academy, huh? No wonder." Xu Xiaoyan consoled him, "It's fine now. Please lie down over here, and I'll help the others." She smiled as she spoke to the old man. She then stood up and ran over to another casualty. The old man frowned as he watched her silhouette. He sighed softly. "What a nice, young girl. Shrek deserves its reputation of being the #1 academy on the continent. Other than their impressive power, they also have a moral standing that is beyond anyone's attainment." It was at that exact moment that the old man's eyes suddenly widened as he cried aloud, "Be careful, young girl." No one noticed when a purple-black shadow had silently arrived behind Xu Xiaoyan and shot in the direction of her heart at lightning speed. It happened so fast that none of them had time to react. However, it was clear that the sound of the old man's cry had had its intended effect. Xu Xiaoyan had a great deal of combat experience, so she threw her entire body forward upon hearing the old man's voice. Moreover, she had not removed her battle armor, having feared that the enemy might possibly reappear at any moment. Violet light swept past her back, so close it had almost touched her. Xu Xiaoyan gave out a muffled grunt as she was blasted away by the light and slammed straight into a train car nearby before bouncing back. Speckles of starlight bloomed on her dark blue battle armor to dissipate the blow as much as possible. However, the enemy's attack was so powerful that a huge breach was torn into the back of her battle armor. Fortunately, her battle armor managed to block most of the attack. Xu Xiaoyan felt a chill on her body as she hastily urged her soul power, the fright building in her heart. The rest of the Shrek 7 monsters immediately reacted to the sudden change of situation. "Xiaoyan!" Yu Zhengyu snarled. The wings on his back flapped strenuously as his second soul ring shimmered. He unleashed his Saint Sword and shielded Xu Xiaoyan in the blink of an eye. The purple-black radiance stopped moving, and a figure emerged from the darkness. It was a middle-aged man with a sickly pale complexion. His eyes were dark purple in color. He looked at Yu Jingyu and spoke coldly. It was you who killed my men. Death to all of you. The man had no battle armor on his body, but he exuded a terribly ghastly aura. Yu Jingyu did not care who this man standing before him was. He had felt as if his heart was about to jump out from his chest the moment he watched helplessly as Xu Xiaoyan was blasted away by him. Golden light was bursting out of his eyes as the wings on his back spread out. In a split second, his fourth soul ring was glowing as his entire body's aura strengthened several times over. It was Angel's descent. He took a step forward into nothingness as the Saint Sword thrust toward the middle-aged man at lightning speed. A purple-black halo rippled away from the middle-aged man. A total of 8 soul rings emerged from his body without a word. 3 purple and 5 black soul rings. 8 soul rings set off the aura of his body. He did not dodge when he was confronted by Yu Jingyu's Saint Sword, merely standing there at its mercy. Just as the Saint Sword thrust into the violet halo with blazing hot Saint Radiance flames, Yu Jingyu felt as if his Saint Sword had stabbed into a muddy swamp and could not sink in any deeper. He was even more shocked that his Saint Sword was contaminated by the purple-black color just as it stabbed into the dark violet light. The sacred radiance was swallowed and melted away rapidly. What? Yu Jingyu was startled. The middle-aged man spoke coldly, I hate holy aura the most. As he spoke, he waved his hand at Yu Jingyu and flung out a stream of purple-black light that lashed straight at Yu Jingyu. The prowess of the Shrek 7 monsters was on display at this moment. Yu Jingyu did not panic despite being attacked by the middle-aged man. He retreated with lightning speed by using the Ghost Shadow perplexing track. His body was akin to a phantom shadow as the Saint Sword in his hand was released in a split second without hesitation. At the same time, holy light glowed brightly as a beam of radiance shone down on his body. His swift reaction allowed him to dodge the purple-black light's frontal attack. He was only affected very slightly as the protective shield unleashed by the holy light and his battle armor just barely managed to block the assault, but Yu Jingyu could still feel as the purple-black hue crawled toward his body. Could it contaminate his soul power as well? A tremendous force shot forth and spun his body before blasting him away. However, a huge hand appeared behind his back at this exact moment. It appeared out of thin air and pulled him down. Simultaneously, a pair of giant hammers dropped down behind the middle-aged man's back and pounded straight for his head. The corners of the middle-aged man cracked into a disdainful curve. He lifted his hands as if he was supporting the sky, with violet light bursting out of his eyes. The third soul ring of his body shimmered. A ball of intense purple light suddenly imploded, like a bomb that blasted in all directions. Tang Wulin had only just pulled Yu Jingyu down when he immediately cried out, "Oh no," in his heart. Yuan and Yehui's double hammers crashed down. The purple-black light's assault blasted her away in a split second. Xie's hidden figure too had no choice but to retreat at high speed. A stream of swords radiance flashed past, and Yi Xinglan was similarly blasted away. It was even more terrifying that anything that came into contact with the purple-black light would be rapidly contaminated by that violet shade. Despite their best effort to urge their soul power at full force, there was no way they could detach the purple color. The purple-black radiance was filled with an icy cold and malignant aura, and also a terrifying corrosiveness. Yuan and Yehui's pair of giant hammers were enormous, yet it had already begun to eat away at the parts that struck against the purple light. She urged her soul power to resist, yet she had only managed to reduce the rate of corrosion slightly. Yu Jingyu turned around and immediately made his way to Xu Xiaoyan's side. He picked her up as he flapped his wings to fly away at lightning speed. Tang Wulin did not retreat. At this exact moment, as the core of the squadron and the leader of Shrek 7 monsters, he had to buy his team some time. Moreover, there were so many casualties on the ground. A valiant dragon's roar echoed. Tang Wulin held the golden dragon spear in his hand as golden light bloomed from his battle armor. He aimed the spear at the violet beam of light that was spreading out. The golden ring of light that had appeared before bloomed out of his chest once again and made the entire land seem dim before him. At the same time, blue-silver emperor vines surged out like a swarm of bees and bound the casualties in succession before tossing them all in one direction. He had to put all else out of his mind. The top priority was still ensuring everyone's survival. Xu Lixi moved his hands in a wide circle as he displayed the Tang San technique, controlling crane capturing dragon to receive the casualties tossed to him by Tang Wulin in succession. The golden dragon spear thrust into the purple-black light. Tang Wulin first felt that same sensation as if he had sunk into a muddy swamp. Again, the violet light crawled along his golden dragon spear in an attempt to contaminate and corrode it. It was at this moment when the purple-black beam of light, which was pierced by golden dragon spear, suddenly produced a diamond-shaped golden dragon scale pattern. Soon after, golden light glowed brightly as the spear struggled free from the purple light with the sound of dragon's roar. A golden dragon's head then emerged from the tip of the spear. It was the golden dragon shocks the heavens, slamming directly at the middle-aged man's chest. Not only that, Tang Wulin shouted aloud and released the golden dragon roar. A powerful sound wave combined with spiritual power and also the golden dragon king's power burst out. The middle-aged man was slightly stunned as the purple beam of light he had unleashed immediately slowed down. A purple light shield emerged before his chest. The shield was in the form of a tortoise shell. It was a dark purple tortoise that used its shell to block golden dragon shocks the heavens assault. Was he using a spirit soul to protect himself? Tang Wulin was shocked. Soon after, he felt as a tremendous force beamed out and lashed against his body. Tang Wulin's strength was astonishing. Even though his cultivation base was much less powerful than the opponent, the strength of his body was amazingly high. He unleashed the domineering golden dragon body that gave all the scales on his body and battle armor a mirror-like surface. He was more confident after seeing that his golden dragon spear was capable of withstanding the purple beam of light's contamination. He relied on his strength, battle armor, and soul skills to resist the opponent's assault by force. His resistance managed to buy his blue-silver Emperor martial soul enough time to toss all the nearby casualties aside and also allowed his companions to retreat. However, the true disparity between their powers was revealed in the next moment. Tang Wulin felt his chest tighten before he was blasted away by the attack. The thick golden dragon king's blood essence power weakened rapidly. He discovered that even though the opponent's purple light was incapable of contaminating himself, he would need to resist with his blood essence power in order to prevent the corrosion. Tang Wulin felt that his blood essence power was damaged rather severely during that one point of contact earlier. The middle-aged man looked toward Tang Wulin coldly. Quite interesting. He stretched out his right hand, so the purple tortoise could drop onto his palm. The tortoise was not very big. It had a diameter of 1 foot with that violet shade all over its body. Its glowing eyes were completely white and were filled with a ghastly aura. "That's a hell tortoise!" Xie cried out in surprise involuntarily. Hell tortoise was an extremely rare soul beast. It could only live in the darkest, most ghoulish places and survived by absorbing yin qi. The hell tortoise was extremely slow in its growth, being less than an inch when born and growing 1 inch every millennium. In other words, the hell tortoise in this middle-aged man had a 10,000-year cultivation base. The most powerful part of the hell tortoise was its ability to refine ultimate yin qi. If it were to meet with a soul master with a compatible martial soul, its amplification of the soul master's power would be so great that it could even cause the soul master's martial soul to evolve immediately. Leave alone 10,000 years, even a hell tortoise with a 1,000-year cultivation base was an exceedingly rare creature. The evil soul master was capable of possessing a 10,000-year hell tortoise as his spirit soul, so one could only imagine how powerful he was. It was already difficult for Tang Wulin and the rest to fight an 8-ring Dolor-rank powerhouse without wearing their battle armors. Even though there was only one opponent, he alone was much more threatening than all of the evil soul masters from earlier. Yu Jingyu held Xu Xiaoyan as he looked toward the tear on her battle armor. Fortunately, the battle armor blocked most of the attack, but there was also a patch of purple-black that was slowly stretching across Xu Xiaoyan's back. Xu Xiaoyan's eyes were tightly shut as she urged her soul power at full force in order to hinder the spread of the violet color. "You must immediately remove the yin qi which has entered your body, otherwise it'll be troublesome when it enters your main meridians," Xie said to Yu Jingyu hastily. Tang Wulin moved in a flash and arrived by Xu Xiaoyan's side. His right golden dragon claw pressed onto her injury as thick golden dragon king bloodline aura was unleashed. The bloodline aura that was filled with indomitable yang energy penetrated under Xu Xiaoyon's skin to rapidly dissolve the purple hue. The Golden Dragon King bloodline was indomitable with pure and righteous ultimate yang qi. No matter how powerful the Hell Tortoise, it was incapable of matching up to the Golden Dragon King bloodline's level. Only that the Evil Soul Master had a greater cultivation base with yin qi refined until it was so pure that it was difficult for Tang Wulin to resist him. If both of them had the same cultivation base, Tang Wulin would naturally be more powerful than him. Xu Xiaoyan opened her eyes and shivered from the cold. It's freezing. Yu Jingyu quickly held her tightly. How are you? Feel better now? I'm fine now. Xu Xiaoyan nodded to him. Meanwhile, everyone from Shrek 7 Monsters was gathered there except for Xu Lixi. Tang Wulin had already raised his hand and stuffed 2 buns into his mouth. Those were Xu Lixi's 3rd soul skill bloodthirst bin buns and his 4th soul skill puncture pork buns. Not only him, but both Yuan and Yehui and Yi Xinglan each ate 2 of these buns. The 3 of them stood at the front as they gazed out to the opponent in the distance. Yuan Yehui's pair of giant hammers were corroded by 1/10 before the yin qi dissipated. Its power was evident. The man seemed in black to be looking at them with excitement. No wonder you're capable of killing my men. All of you are genuinely quite different from ordinary soul masters. Interesting, but do you think that you're capable of stopping me? After speaking, he suddenly raised his brows and muttered to himself, they've arrived quite soon. I can only fight a quick battle to force a swift decision under such circumstances then. As he was saying that, his pair of purple eyes suddenly glowed brightly. Soon after, a layer of purple light arose from his back and transformed into an enormous phantom. The aura from his body increased exponentially. Pieces of purple-black armor then emerged from his body. The battle armor was filled with darkness and ghastliness. It was even more peculiar that there was an oval-shaped groove on his cuirass. The middle-aged man pressed the Hell Tortoise into the groove. The Hell Tortoise's color turned even darker at once as if it had fused into his battle armor. A pair of gigantic wings spread out behind his back, the characteristic of two-word battle armor. It seemed apparent that the middle-aged man was clad in two-word battle armor. One demonic marking after another emerged on the battle armor, accompanied by a purple-black soul ring, 3 meters in diameter, that appeared underneath his feet. The outer soul ring appeared like a crown of thorns while the inner ring was formed from complicated demonic markings with the most center pattern in the form of a ghost. It was 3-word battle armor with the projection of his martial soul and domain soul ring. Just like how the presence of wings signified 2-word battle armor, the domain soul ring represented 3-word battle armor. 3-word battle armor had its own domain special effect that was also extremely compatible with the Soul Master. A Soul Master's fighting capacity would be doubled at least within the domain. An 8-ringed cultivation base with 3-word battle armor. His power was already enough to fight a hyperdolor. The expressions on Shrek 7 Monsters' faces became dull. The terrifying dominance of 3-word battle armor, especially its domain power that could possibly be triggered at any time, made Tang Wulin's group feel suffocated. Even though the bloodthirst bin buns had already begun to take effect, the disparity between the two parties was truly too great. Tang Wulin bit the tip of his tongue as he took a step forward. The expression on his face was gloomy. Yuinan, launch the Fallen Angel. Xiaoyan, launch the Star Chain. It was utterly impossible for them to run away with a hyperdolor-ranked powerhouse standing before them. However, they could tell from the Evil Soul Master's words to himself earlier that reinforcements would not be far. This was their only chance of survival. They could live if they could withstand this. Tang Wulin crossed the golden dragon spear in his hand as 4 golden soul rings bloomed with light from his body. He could not summon the Overlord Dragon anymore, or he could certainly have been able to resist much longer. However, as captain of the squadron, he would need to remain at the forefront to guard his companions. Tang Wulin helped Xu Xiaoyan to remove the ultimate yin qi. Even though she was quite exhausted, she could still launch a few soul skills. She gulped down the bloodthirst bin buns hastily while illuminating her 4th soul skill. Streaks of illusionary chains that seemed to be condensed from stars connected to everyone and joined them in union. The star chain allowed them to share their life source. Every attack which they had suffered would be equally borne by everyone, including Shulishi in the distance. He was also connected with a streak of star chain. They could sense each other's heartbeat and condition. Their thoughts and feelings were connected. Yu Zhenyu held Xu Xiaoyon's hand subconsciously. Xu Xiaoyan struggled gently, but Yu Zhenyu held onto her hand tightly and refused to let go regardless. Everyone thought that they were about to lose Xu Xiaoyan just earlier. Fortunately, Xu Xiaoyan managed to survive, so he refused to let go of her anymore. For me, killing all of you will be no different from crushing ants, the evil soul master spoke coldly. The wings on his back flapped as his right hand reached for something in the air. A gigantic purple-black hand shot forward and tried to grab hold of Tang Wulin's head, while the battle armor's domain soul ring underneath his feet diffused in a split second and enwrapped all of the Shrek 7 monsters. Tang Wulin was crying out, "Oh no," in his heart. The evil soul master did not despise them for the disparity between their powers, but he triggered his domain soul ring in an attempt to kill them as quickly as possible. He had no other options. He could not allow the enemy's domain to enshroud everyone. Otherwise, Tang Wulin and his companions would be at his mercy. The fourth soul ring on Tang Wulin's body suddenly glowed brightly as a golden soul ring appeared underneath his feet and spread outward to a diameter of 5 meters, covering the Shrek 7 monsters. At present, Shulishi had already joined the group in a rush after he was connected to the star chain. An enormous dragon was faintly coiled within the golden soul ring. The group of people felt a gush of thick blood essence power bore into their bodies instantly. A bold dragon's roar echoed within their eyes. Tang Wulin's body was expanding exponentially in the wind. He grew to a height of over 3 meters while the blood essence fluctuation in his body increased tremendously in a short moment. His eyes were no longer golden but turned bright red. The aura on his body was elevated multiple times. He unleashed his fourth bloodline soul skill that was known as the Golden Dragon Rage Domain. Tang Wulin acquired such an ability since he had broken through the 4th layer Golden Dragon King seal, but he had never used it after he left the Dragon Valley. The Golden Dragon Rage Domain enabled his Golden Dragon King bloodline to break out and enter the raging state instantly. At the same time, any friendly forces within the domain would receive the Golden Dragon King bloodline's addition of 1/3 elevation to the potency of their attack and defense. Tang Wulin's strength, defense and attack energies would double within the Golden Dragon Rage Domain. The scales on Tang Wulin's body became thicker and heavier when he grew to 3 meters. The dragon scale patterns on his battle armor had completely turned into thick and tough dragon scales. The dragon scales curled inward to wrap around the battle armor. Tang Wulin's aura was rapidly elevated such that he felt like a newly awakened beast. The golden dragon spear was glowing brightly with radiance after being enhanced by his intense bloodline energy that was doubly amplified by the bloodthirst Bin Bun and his rage domain. Furthermore, the spear was enlarging in tandem with his height. Roar, his 3rd soul ring glowed as a valiant dragon's roar erupted. Powerful blood essence fluctuation lashed out repeatedly at the evil soul master's battle armor such that his domain soul ring was a step out of sync. In the next moment, Tang Wulin transformed into a stream of golden light as he surged forward. It was the golden dragon flies. He did not have the slightest hesitation as he headed straight into the opponent's domain with the lethal golden dragon spear and the swift movement of a golden dragon's flight. He could not retreat even by a little at this moment. If he were to enter into the area that belonged to the opponent's domain soul ring, he would be trapped in his opponent's world completely. The ghastly cold aura that blew against his face was the ultimate yin qi. Even though Tang Wulin had yet to find out his opponent's martial soul, he suspected the person before him was an important figure in the evil soul master's world as his opponent had the ability to refine such pure yin qi. However, Tang Wulin was akin to a burning sun at present. He was not burning as in flames but in blood essence. The thick Golden Dragon King's blood essence pushed away the yin qi before his face while the Golden Dragon Spear shot toward the opponent's chest much like the strike of golden lightning. The evil soul master's face registered surprise. He could never tell that Tang Wulin was only a 5-ring soul king. A 5-ring one-word battle armor master who was surprisingly capable of pushing away his ultimate yin qi as such and could even make him feel threatened. The evil Soul Master had never encountered such a situation before. However, the evil Soul Master was not alarmed by this. He watched as Tang Wulin made his way into his gigantic purple-black hand with a cold smile on his face. His cold smile was frozen the next moment because he saw a vortex-like golden aperture appearing in the middle of the gigantic purple-black hand which he unleashed. Soon after, the golden vortex enlarged rapidly to consume the gigantic purple-black hand. Golden light flashed and in the blink of an eye reached the front of his chest. The evil Soul Master responded swiftly. He stretched out his right hand at lightning speed to smack the golden dragon spear. In the split second that his palm came into contact with the golden dragon spear, his body shuddered. It was completely bloodline suppression which was unrelated to their cultivation bases. Whenever Tang Wulin's soul power was elevated by one rank, his Golden Dragon King's bloodline aura would be stronger such that it was better at fusing with his blood essence which made it even stronger. Tang Wulin relied absolutely on his power to become Shrek 7 Monsters' captain. Moreover, his fighting method was developed along the lines of suppressing others by dominance as his Golden Dragon King bloodline grew stronger with his body. The Golden Dragon King bloodline's ultimate yang and fearless aura suppressed the ultimate yin chi overwhelmingly. Even though the Shrek 7 monsters were still feeling ghastly cold all over, it was not to the extent of being weakened due to the reinforcement from the Golden Dragon Rage domain. If they had been in a situation where they were without the Golden Dragon Rage domain's amplification and their cultivation bases were weaker, they would be turned into a puddle of blood from the corrosion effect of Yin Chi under the 3-word battle armor Evil Soul Master's Soul Ring domain. Streaks of golden star wheel shackles arose from underneath the Evil Soul Master's feet silently. Xu Xiaoyon's most powerful control soul skill burst forth with the most powerful prowess in a split second. The Evil Soul Master's raised right hand was frozen in midair instantly. Xu Xiaoyan was truly worthy of the reputation of being able to seize the moment. The Golden Dragon Spear in Tang Wulin's hand wounded the Evil Soul Master's fingertip as the impact of blood essence and star wheel shackles appeared almost simultaneously. In the next moment, the Golden Dragon Spear pierced savagely into the Hell Tortoise on his chest. The purple-black 3-word battle armor glowed brightly. Its protective shield was triggered, a most ordinary reaction of the battle armor. However, the power emitted from the 3-word battle armor was not something a 1-word battle armor could compare to. A gush of ultimate cold energy struck against Tang Wulin and blasted him away. Nonetheless, an aperture appeared on the Hell Tortoise's back and was shimmering with faint golden radiance. Tang Wulin could obviously feel the gush of cool and refreshing airflow radiating from the Golden Dragon Spear. It was the Hell Tortoise's vitality. The Golden Dragon Spear managed to reveal its all-conquering special effect during the most crucial moment. The protective shield's flare-up did not manage to blast away the Golden Dragon Spear. In the end, Tang Wulin managed to leave behind a trace on the opponent's Hell Tortoise. Even though the Hell Tortoise was just a spirit soul, it had already become a part of the Soul Master. Tang Wulin understood well that he could not unleash all the Golden Dragon Spear's powers with his current cultivation base. Thus, he chose not to attack the other vital parts of the Evil Soul Master which were protected by his 3-word battle armor. He did not think that his attack could penetrate the 3-word battle armor. Instead, he attacked the Hell Tortoise which was the core of the Evil Soul Master's power. Also, its defense was not as good as the battle armor. How dare you! The Evil Soul Master's raging voice echoed. Tang Wulin did not manage to judge the situation clearly before he felt his body whipped by a stream of ghastly cold energy. His body was blasted away at high speed as he crashed toward his comrades. Meanwhile, the Star Chain special effect was revealed. The battle armors on the Shrek 7 monsters were shimmering with radiance as they endured the attack together. 7 people gave out a muffled hump simultaneously, but they managed to dissipate the energy of the attack. Yuan and Yehui and Yu Jingyu managed to catch Tang Wulin and softened the impact of his landing. Ultimate Yin Boundary, the Evil Soul Master's ghastly cold voice echoed throughout the entire scene. Tang Wulin and his comrades felt everything in their surroundings turning sticky. His Golden Dragon Rage domain was suppressed by the terrifying ultimate Yin Chi-like roaring wave slamming the beachfront. A stream of purple-black radiance suddenly arose from the ground and enshrouded Xu Xiaoyan. It was the terrifying ultimate yin chi that was 10 times thicker than the evil soul master's soul ring domain. Furthermore, it cut off the streaks of star chains extending from Xu Xiaoyon's body at the moment it appeared. This was the first time the group from Shrek had ever encountered such a situation. The star chain was considered a star-type soul skill. Its tenacity could be observed when it connected all her comrades in an extremely firm and stable way. Nevertheless, this stability was not permanent. It was obvious that the evil soul master could sense that Tang Wulin did not pose his biggest threat in the frontal assault amongst the Shrek 7 monsters. Instead, it was the tenacious control of Xu Xiaoyan. Without her control, how could Tang Wulin harm his hell tortoise earlier? Thus, he used his 6th soul skill to overcome Xu Xiaoyan first. The ultimate yin boundary was akin to a coffin that covered Xu Xiaoyan's body completely. The Golden Dragon King's aura produced by the Golden Dragon Rage domain was being rapidly consumed. It would only take a few breaths before Xu Xiaoyan's defense would be broken. By then, both herself and her battle armor would be melted instantaneously within the ultimate yin boundary. Xiaoyan! Yu Jingyu screamed as the wings behind his back flapped once. He did not have the slightest hesitation as he dashed into the ultimate yin boundary valiantly. The ultimate yin boundary had an extremely powerful attacking ability. At the same time, it was also a hyper-powerful control-type soul skill. Otherwise, it would not have been chosen as the evil soul master's 6th soul skill. The only problem was that its attack range was limited such that it could only be used to attack one person at a time. A puff of pure white holy flames was ignited on Yu Jingyu's body. Surprisingly, the holy flames were burning on the wings behind his back. The pure white flames appeared gentle, warm, and had a soothing comfort. Yu Jingyu dashed into the ultimate yin boundary and closed the flaming wings inward to protect Xu Xiaoyan within his arms. A miraculous scene emerged. The powerful attacking ability of the ultimate yin boundary did not manage to extinguish the flames but was blocked on the outside by force. Sacrifice! Holy Angel Clan, the evil soul master gave a cold humph, but his voice sounded a little worried this time. Sacrifice? The rest of the Shrek 7 monsters were stunned for a moment upon hearing the title. It was precisely then when a sharp howl echoed from afar. The evil soul master's expression changed into fear. He looked coldly at Tang Wulin and the rest before he suddenly vanished. Just as Tang Wulin and the rest were defending Xu Xiaoyan and Yu Jingyu in preparation for an even more intense battle, the evil soul master vanished into nothingness. Sacrifice, an astonished voice suddenly echoed in the air. Soon after, the air seemed to be torn apart as a silver-white figure descended out of the void. The silver-white wings spread open to carry his body into a slow descent. A silver-white soul ring glowed brightly underneath his feet. He was a 3-word battle armor master. Another 3-word battle armor master. In this case, however, he was definitely not an evil soul master judging by the light source emitting from his body. He wore a helmet and a mask, so his face could not be seen. Silver light flashed once on the person's body as a silver little hammer flew to the sky above the ultimate yin boundary. Streams of dazzling silver light bloomed and formed an array of mirror-like surfaces. Whoosh! The ultimate yin boundary disintegrated under the reflection of those pieces of mirror-like surfaces. What was that? The burning white flames were extinguished, but Yu Jingyu remained to hold Xu Xiaoyan tightly. I'm sorry, Xiaoyan, Yu Jingyu whispered softly into Xu Xiaoyan's ear before collapsing limply on her. Tang Wulin's body shrank as he retracted the Golden Dragon Rage domain. He spoke to the 3-word battle armor master clad in silver battle armor respectfully. Thank you for rescuing us. How may I address you? The 3-word battle armor master was shimmering in silver light. It was as if every piece of his battle armor was a mirror reflecting light off its surface. Later, the battle armor bored into his body and disappeared silently, revealing his face. He was a handsome middle-aged man that appeared to be over 30 years old. His short, blue hair made him appear energetic. His eyes were brimming with vigor, but most peculiar of all was the color of his pupils was silver. I'm the associate war god Luo Xiaofeng from the Federation's War God Hall. All of you are rather impressive to be able to resist Sun Fang for such a long duration. Luo Xiaofeng looked slightly astonished at the young people clad in one-word battle armors before him. Tang Wulin asked anxiously, "Senior, can you please help take a look at my companion?" Tang Wulin had already picked up Yu Jingyu from Xu Xiaoyon's hands as he was saying that. Luo Xiaofeng waved his hand and spoke, "He's all right. The Holy Angel clan member will not be harmed so long as his sacrifice flame is not extinguished." Xu Xiaoyon appeared to be in a daze at present. She had yet to recover from the earlier sensation she felt. When the ultimate yin boundary enshrouded her body, cutting off all the star chains, her first reaction was that she had lost. She could only feel the extremely ghastly cold aura surging in from all directions at the time. She could not budge at all. Neither could she move the soul power in her body. She could only feel the ultimate yin qi which was rapidly corroding her bloodline aura. It was also precisely that moment when a white figure filled her vision. In the next instant, she was hugged by a pair of warm arms, and the hug felt so strong. She then heard his thumping heartbeat and muttering, "I'm sorry." He used his wings to wrap around her and block the grisly cold corrosion from her. Xu Xiaoyun's heart was aching at that moment. She yearned to break free from his hug because she did not wish to make him suffer the fatal blow for her. Yet, his hug was so tight that there was no way she could struggle free. He entered the ultimate yin boundary and was similarly rendered immobile like her. Both of them were trapped within a world that could rob them of their lives at any moment. She saw Yu Jingyu smile when he collapsed into her arms. It was a gratified and relieved smile. His apology no longer sounded arrogant but was warm and sincere. Tears flowed down Xu Xiaoyon's cheeks uncontrollably. Her voice sounded a little shaky as she spoke, "Senior, he's going to be fine, right? Why is that ability known as sacrifice?" Luo Xiaofeng raised his brows. "I thought that you're friends with each other. Hasn't he told you about the Holy Angel clan's natural endowment, sacrifice? The reason why Holy Angel clan is the highest grade clan in the Soul Master's world today is because of the natural endowment, sacrifice. They can burn their vitality as the price for unleashing the sacrifice flames when they are confronting enemies they cannot resist. The sacrifice flames is equipped with the ability to resist any negative effect with a threefold amplification effect on their own holy power. It's capable of equipping a Holy Angel clan member with double fighting capacity during an emergency. Of course, everything comes at a price. One's lifespan will be reduced by 10 years each time the natural endowment, sacrifice, is used. 10 years of life? In other words, a lifespan that would be shorter by 10 years. Yuan Yehue, who initially felt good about Yu Jingyu, due to Xu Xiaoyon's earlier issue, changed her opinion of him. Everybody else felt the same. Xu Xiaoyon was already covered in tears by now. Luo Xiaofeng was also speaking with admiration in his eyes. The Holy Angel clan's lineage is most proud of sacrificing themselves to protect others. This young boy didn't disgrace his clan. The Holy Angel clan holds proudly onto their belief of self-sacrifice no matter how arrogant they are. Tang Wulin felt a lump in his throat, and his gaze almost in a daze. They were still weak when they had been confronted by a true powerhouse. Were they truly worthy of the title Shrek 7 monsters? If it was not because Yu Jingyu used the sacrifice, chances are Xu Xiaoyon would be dead already. Tang Wulin had no excuse for not performing his duty as the captain. Yuan Yehue walked forward and held Xu Xiaoyon in her arms. Tang Wulin took a deep breath. "Xiaoyon, stay here and keep Jingyu company. We'll continue to rescue the casualties." Meanwhile, lights were illuminated afar as the mechas descended from the sky. There were battle-type mechas as well as some that were meant for rescue missions. The mechas transformed into small-scale first aid platforms upon landing. A large number of medical personnel disembarked from the mechas to rescue the casualties. The War God Hall's associate War God 3-word battle armor master, Luo Xiaofeng, did not participate in the rescue mission but was hovering in midair on the lookout for enemies that could reappear anytime. Someone else was supervising the rescue mission now, so Tang Wulin walked in quick strides to the spot beneath Luo Xiaofeng. He raised his head to look up at Luo Xiaofeng and asked, "Senior, who's Shunfang whom you mentioned earlier?" Luo Xiaofeng took a glance at him. "If I'm not mistaken, all of you should be from Shrek Academy, right? Inner Court disciples?" Tang Wulin was stunned for a moment before he nodded. This video will end here. Like video and subscribe to my channel.